So we have a squeaky chair. Hello.
Squeaky chair?
Squeaky chair.
I don't
My
squeaky
chair made squeaks. It was just like...
Mine is scary because if I move back,
yeah,
I might just go...
You're going to lose a wheel. Someone may have broken that chair. Might have been me. Who knows? Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to Code School, Episode 8.
Episode 8. Last one before Christmas.
Yep.
We go on holiday.
What are we doing today?
We have a bunch of code.
Bunch of code?
A bunch of code. We're going to put... Because last time we had the bullets, and they were clickbaity, but everywhere, basically. And now we are going to do collision. Because we did collision in episode 3 to see how that worked. And then we've been learning new stuff. And then gradually going towards this. And now we're going to put it all to use. So we might go pretty fast. There's a lot of concepts. But there's nothing new. It's all stuff we've already gone over. But it's going to be fast. And it's going to be a bunch of code.
Quick and dirty. No, it'll be quick and clean.
Quick and clean.
Quick and clean.
Hopefully clean.
Are we ready to get going?
I'm ready. Hi, Gabe.
Now the suspense is even funny.
Yeah. So last time we had a lot of bullets. A lot of bullets on the screen. No clickbait.
No clickbait.
No.
A lot of bullets.
We had a lot of bullets. We even showed it in the news articles. I like that. Like that touch.
Made a nice GIF.
Mega nice GIF. And today we're going to have a lot of code. We're going to go through a lot of stuff. So there's little time to clown around.
Nice.
Just let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Going straight into it.
Yep. It's quick and dirty. No.
Quick and clean.
Quick and clean. So there's a few things. So the base we are going to use right now is episode 7. So if we just see how that was. Sorry, I don't have it centered. It was the box. And I could hold in down space. And because we used the random function, it could just... The bullets went everywhere.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew, pew. Indeed. So if I go back to the code. Oops, here we go. So the base is episode 7. Maybe it's a nice thing to go over. So for those...
Should I swap to your screen full?
Yeah, let's just go to my screen full. So we have the GitHub, which has all the episodes from 1 to 7. And in each one of these, you have a solution, which is basically what we had at the end of the episode. So for today, we're going to be using episode 7, which was the last episode. You can dismiss this. And an easy way to do this is just to click raw. You'll get the file itself. Do a Control-A, copy. And then when you have a new sketch in processing, you could just do paste. Like I did here, hit play, and now you're back to this.
Pew, pew.
Pew, pew, pew. Okay. So we are going to use that. Gabe, you have that set up already? Yes. There is a new thing I'm going to show you.
We're going to two screens?
You could do 2 screens, but I'm going to move this guy a little bit. So what we've usually been doing when we make a sketch is that in this part, we have settings, we have file, we have history. History is usually when you save things. Files is about external files. Like if you have you can upload a PNG or a WAV file or whatever. And they have limits on how many they have for like a free account and that kind of stuff. You can also then have a picture somewhere on the web. Like we had a spaceship drawn by one of the member of the community, which was a little NGON spaceship. And that could just be on the web somewhere. That's fine. And in the settings part, we've usually switched to this. So P5.js is another variant on processing. It looks more like JavaScript. And processing.js is more like the original processing language. It's still a JavaScript version of it. That's why there are 2 reference manuals. There's the regular reference, and then there's a processing.js reference. They're slightly different, but generally they should be the same. But there's a thing here that we haven't messed with, which is tabs.
Snap.
And today we're going to mess with that.
Nice.
A little bit.
Nice.
So if you click show for tabs, you'll get a little tab over here. You can double click on it and you can edit the name. And let's call this tab main or something. Yeah, if you double click, you'll get a little edit box. There we go. And then you just click out and then you're back. So we can be main. Great. And then we're going to click plus to make a new tab. Oops. And we're going to call this tab box.
Ooh, box.
And then just click out. So now, if I go back to how the whole window is set up, I have the code here. I have box as a tab, which is empty, and main, which is the regular code. And I'm going to copy the entire class up to line about 84. Or not copy, I'm going to cut. So it's gone. And
Gone.
I go to box, I hit paste. And now I have box in its own thing, and main just has the initialization, the setup, the key typed, key released, and the draw. And when I hit play, it's still the same. There's no difference. Because when you're hitting play, it is using all the code. All the code. And there's a quirk here with this language, which is, it's not normal, and it's not in a lot of languages, and we'll see that in a bit. And that quirk is, it doesn't matter in what order you create functions. You can create a function up above and use it below. That seems fine. You can also create a function that uses another function that is defined somewhere else below it. So, for example, if I go here just quickly to show this, if I create int add, make the text maybe a little bigger, and it takes in 2 integers. Oops. Do I have Swedish? Yes, I do. Silly Swedish. And this one uses another function called foo. I can make that function foo here below. So from reading this, it doesn't make sense. Here I'm creating add, and it's using a function called foo. But if I'm looking at the code above, there's no foo. And until later down below, I'm using foo. And this is fine. This works in this language. In many other languages, this does not work. So that's just a heads up. And we will see that quirk a bit today. So another thing we're going to do is we're going to use our collision code from episode 3. So if I go back to Code School on GitHub, episode 3, solution, we had the 2 functions that we made. Is point inside box and is box inside box. So we'll use those heavily today. This is basically the groundwork for the code we're going to do today. We're going to modify these a bit. Actually, one of these is going to be modified quite a bit. Hey, Gno.
Just waving.
Waving. But we'll start with is point inside box. We can copy that one. And what we can do is we can go to box and just put that above. And just paste that in. I'm going to minimize this part here so we can see this. And the font size is fine. Yep. So just as a quick refresher about this function, this is asking if a point, which is 2 variables, 2 integers, x and y, if a point is inside a box. A box also has an x and y, which is, if I do this correctly for the camera, the top left part of the box. And if we have the width and the height, we have the width, we know how far out it goes, and the height, we know how far down basically it goes. We know all the other coordinates. We know the width, then we know this point, we know the height, we know that point, and if we know the width and the height, we know this point over here. So we know the entirety of the box. And to ask if a point is inside a box, we need to know if the x value of a point is bounded by the sides of the box. So if the x is bigger than the x of the box and it is less than the x of the box plus its width. So it's between the 2 walls. And if the y is inside, it is if the y variable is, it's the same check. Then it's if the y variable is between the 2 ceilings. So if the x variable is between the 2 walls and the y variable is between the 2 ceilings, if both of those are true, then we are inside the box. All right? But this, look at this one here. Box X, box Y. Box width, box height. Where do we have this somewhere else?
Isn't it this?
Yeah.
The box name itself?
Yeah, so the box itself that we made in previous episodes has an X and a Y and a height and a width. So why are we sending each one of those in here? Could we send in the box?
But doesn't it depend on... But it's another box we need to create.
Yeah.
Or are we still doing the main box, collision with the main box?
We're going to do collision with the main box. But if we think of just this function here,
Yeah.
and we think of just the header, this is an X and a Y because we're focusing on a point. It's just some point out in the world that we're interested in. This is a box, right?
Then we just need box.
Yeah.
We don't need everything.
We can say box. Let's call it a box just to signify that it's an argument. And let me move these up again because we don't have that many now. So we have the X and the Y, and I have a box called a box. But now we have box X, which we don't have anymore, which we had before.
No, it needs to be
What's the variable name?
box. Where's a box?
A box.
Yeah.
And how do we access the X variable from within a box? So a box is a variable.
We need to add the X. Isn't the X just the width?
Yeah, we need X for the first thing, for the first check. How do we access the X variable from within the class of box?
With just X or AX?
Can I do this directly? Or how did I access things from within classes?
By calling the variable.
How do you do that?
That's just X, isn't it?
You do dot X.
Ah, yes, dot X.
Yeah. So a box is a variable of the type box, and it contains the value X, so you say dot X. So if we look for more box X, it's over here as well.
Then we also have a box Y.
Which it's we have Y. So if we do a box dot X, and here we do
there's a box dot Y.
Exactly, and the same thing here, a box dot Y. If I move this a little bit for the camera,
then can we do the same thing with the width and the height?
Yeah.
So it's a box dot width.
So a box dot width, if I can type width, and a box dot height. Great.
Oh, mine's a little bit off screen.
There we go. I moved it so people saw. So that would work. We have the X and the Y, we have the box that's coming in, and instead of the variables that we had before, those four, we know that they are within a box. But that then means anytime we call is point inside box, we can't call it with some random numbers. We have to put in an X and Y, that's fine, and we have to have a box, which means that before we call this function, we have to have newed up a box and have a box in our hands as a variable and then send the box in. Otherwise, this doesn't work.
Send the box in.
Send it in.
Yeah. Send in the cavalry.
Go forward. Okay. And that's the only change we need to do with this function. So it now complies with what we have changed. Because we made a box class, but in the past, if I can show here, we had the idea of a box. It represents a box, but all the values are disjointed. They're all over the place.
Now we just have box.
Now we just have box, which is kind of nice.
And because we have inside class, we have the X value and the heights and even the vertical and horizontal, which is how far it moves. We can just use those inside that instead.
We could, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, you're getting that.
Nice, that's much easier.
And also because this is box,
yeah,
we can use any function. We could do this, a box.update.
Oh God, what's that do?
I don't want to know. It all depends on how we would call this function here.
Yeah.
But just because we sent in box, we're gaining all the benefits of all the work.
All this,
yeah. We could call on key typed. It wouldn't make sense, but we could. So that's kind of cool.
So now, so just so in my head, when you have, so if we want to call additional boxes, so also I didn't capitalize that, so it's the wrong box. This makes it so it's calling this class, right? When you say box,
you're saying
that you're calling this.
You're referring to this type.
Yeah.
So a box is a variable.
Is the variable you create, but it's based off box.
Yes.
So it's just if I wanted to create another box, it could just literally just be box banana.
Yep.
Box.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. You could send in 20 boxes.
Yeah. Send them in.
Send them in.
Okay.
And
there's just an easy way to create if we have something that's like a framework of we need a lot of something. And you've already created one of something. You just name more variables after this class.
Exactly. And we'll actually do this in a bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're going to make a bunch of anemones.
Anemones. Okay. So the other function that we had, and let me do one thing real quick since Gabe is linking the kit. I'm going to save this. So this is going to be episode 8. And I'll save that. It's not a draft. There we go. I can go back to coding. So I have that around. Great. So the next one, the next function that we wrote in episode 3 is box inside box. So we need to... That sounds useful because what that basically was 4 checks of is point inside box.
We shouldn't do the same thing though, aren't we?
Yeah, we're going to put it there, but we're going to modify it a bit more. There's more stuff we need to modify.
Putting it there.
Yeah, you can put it there.
Put it there.
So to check if a box is within another box, it was just a matter of when we can check one point, let's check all 4 points. And if any, so instead of saying if both of them are true, we can ask the question if any of them are true. It's an or. If this one or this one or this one, etc. So if any of them are true, then the box is inside the box. At least partially. A corner could be inside or whatever.
Where did you put this? Did you drop it down at the bottom?
No, I haven't copied it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm just on the Git still. So I'm going to copy that one from episode 3. And then we don't need episode 3 anymore. We have copied over the stuff we needed. So I'm just going to put that below. That's fine. And again, if you look at... So box inside box uses point inside box.
We just do the same thing.
We're going to do more changes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, a bunch more changes. And they're going to be a little strange, but bear with me.
Got it.
Got it. So point inside box is made up here. So if you're reading this like a text, it makes sense. It's made over, it's defined over here, and it's used down here. But this guy is using box, which isn't made until down here. But in this language, it works. But in many others, it doesn't work. Okay.
But would box have to exist first?
Yes. Yeah. And if you have like this chain of dependencies, like A needs B, but B needs A, there are ways around that usually in those languages. Like in C++, you can, it's a thing called forward declaring. You can declare a thing, but you don't put anything into it, and then you declare it again, basically. All right, so we still need the X and the Y, and the height and the width. So this is going to look odd. I'm just going to delete all of these. I'm going to write them again.
Man.
I'm just going to write them again. And this might look like I'm defining a box again, but there is a reason for this.
You want to go full screen on your screen since it's
you can do that. Mm-hmm. While I'm doing that, here we go. So
hit that F11.
Hit at F11.
Clean.
So it might look like I am sending in a box again, but I have to do this for a few reasons, and you'll see why later in a bit. So I'm going to say int AX, int AY, then I'm going to say int A width and int A height. So as we talked about before, and I emphasized, this is a box. And I can make this as a box. Like we could do this, a box like this. It will work. But I am going to show you why in a bit. And there are gains and there are losses from doing this. But I'm just going to show you that you can do both. But we're going to have a little bit more fun. So after this one, we're going to say box. And what we're going to do is it's going to be an array of
I see where we're going.
Collisions.
Okay, I don't see where we're going here anymore. I thought we were going to make a lot of enemies.
These are enemies.
Oh.
But we're going to be general. Because if I call these enemies here,
Yeah.
if I say enemies,
Yeah.
whoever's looking at this might say, oh, it's only, like, I can only do this for enemies.
Yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah, we want to do it for everything that we want to create.
This could be a wall.
Yeah,
This could be whatever, a friendly. So it's just going to be a collision thing. And again, this is a name of a variable. From the computer's point of view, it doesn't care. We put meaning behind it. So the design of this actually matters. So this name now doesn't work. Is box inside box. That name is saying, is one box inside of one other box. But if we look at this is one box. And this is
A collision. There's many boxes.
many boxes.
As many as we want. I almost said a collision. Not that it will be a collision, but
So
it's many boxes.
Yeah, so we say is box inside box says. We have to change the name of it. And now we need to, so this check is only checking one box. Like this check is still correct. This is going to be the thing that we use. We're going to change the variable names here because they don't match with the stuff above here. But this is still valid. This is still correct. But we don't want to do this to one box, right?
Shit. Sorry.
Gabe is trying to shitpost on Twitch chat.
There we go. Is that how you
Yes.
spell it? I don't remember.
That's like a 10-year-old meme.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We're old school now.
We're old school now. You just showed your age, basically.
Yeah.
So how do we, so this check over here works with one box, but we want this to do with many boxes. So how do we go through boxes? Or how do we go through an array?
Oh man, they need isn't it special brackets?
Special brackets?
No, I need to remind myself I'm cheating.
Noah has it. Spoilers in chat.
Oh wait, no, these are all the fours.
Yeah, what's a 4?
Well, that's a loop.
Yes, there we go.
But we wanted to do
We want to go through all the
brackets,
boxes.
but we need to.
We basically,
Yeah, I don't know.
we basically just need a loop. So we want to go through all the collisions.
So I said loop. I didn't know I was right. I didn't read that from there. I looked at the 4 here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we say 4 box, let's just call it lowercase box for now. And I say a collision, and then I put my little curly braces.
Curly braces.
So this is going to go through all the values in a collision. And for each one of these, we're going to call a variable box, which is the type box. So the type here matches.
So why is the second box lowercase?
So this is the type,
Yeah.
which is the name of the class.
So yeah, we know. Yeah.
Name of the class.
Yeah.
This is just a variable name.
Okay.
This could be banana.
Okay. Lots of bananas.
Yeah, we can. I'm calling it box because the line is going to be kind of long,
Okay.
and we don't care.
But we don't need to assign box a value up one line, up 2 lines in the collision, the A collision. Don't we normally have to tell it how many?
That's going to. Yes, we have to.
array?
Yeah, but that's going to happen when someone calls this.
Okay.
When someone is calling this function, they have to provide the array. They have to create it. They have to put stuff into it. This function just assumes, hey, someone is going to send me an array of boxes, that's cool.
And you do that by, I guess we'll see that in a second.
Yes, we'll see that.
Okay, because I'm not understanding how you send an array of boxes into a.
You send it in like any other variable.
Okay.
You could just when you call the function, you can just like how we do this here with the commas.
And just say a collision.
Yeah. Or not this name, but it will be whatever we call the array. We just send it in. There's no magic there. And what we do is we take this part.
Uh-oh.
This whole bit here.
It's going to go bye-bye, isn't it?
It's going to cut.
Uh-oh. Bye-bye.
And we're going to put it into the loop.
Ooh. It's not going bye-bye.
It's not going bye-bye. It's getting more important. Let me indent this correctly.
Uh-oh. Clean code.
Clean code. So now we will call this for every
a collision
that is sent in, but we still need to call the functions correctly. So let's look at its point inside box. It needs an X and a Y, right?
Yeah.
And then it needs a box.
Yeah. So we just need to call it a box, right?
We don't need to call the variable we send in the same name as the value is in here. This is just for this name here is just for these brackets. Same way.
Just give it another name.
We can. It has to be a name that already exists.
Okay.
So here we have box inside boxes.
Yeah.
What names exist? AX, AY, a width, a height.
Box is the name that exists.
Yeah, and box and a collision.
Yeah.
We want to say point inside box. The value we need, the first two is X and Y. What values exist?
X and
AX, AY, a width, a height, collision, and box. So which one can we use?
AX.
So let's replace all of them here with AX. All of the X's here with AX. Cool. Let's take the next one. It's Y.
I'm just going to copy paste this much faster. It's
fine.
just AY.
Yep, AY. And let's find all the Y's. Let's find Y. Okay, great. So if we look again at its point inside box, it takes three variables, X, Y, and a box.
We don't remove, no, yeah.
So here is X, Y, and we're sending in 4 more.
Yeah.
We don't want to send in those 4. We want to send in a box. If I erase this over here, where do we have a box?
Right above and next to the a collision.
Yeah.
Just box.
Just box. Correct. You see how easier it is to call this now.
Yeah.
So the top left collision, which is the starting point of a box, we just need the AX and AY, and then the box we want to collide or check the collision with. Great. But for the top right collision, we have AX and then ship width. You see, we called this ship width before.
No,
but
just
this, if we look at this function, like why is there something called ship? That doesn't make sense. So we have a width over here. So let's use that one. Let's find there's 2 ship widths. And the same thing with height. We can find the heights, there are 2 of them. Great. But what about all the others here?
Uh-oh.
You broke?
How do I go forward? I don't know what I did. Oh, there it is.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah. Don't mind me. Then the heights, ship heights.
Yeah, instead of ship height, you do a height.
Yep.
Instead of ship width, you do a width. So let's now look at all these 4 arguments after. So again, we don't need them. And we can replace them with what?
Box.
Yeah. So let's just replace that. You see how nice this looks now?
I mean, mine doesn't look nice just yet. Catch me up there. We still have box. No, I don't have box Y. Whoops. I didn't delete those. I was like, wait a minute. We still have those for some reason. Now it looks much better.
So now what we're doing is for every box in a collision, because box is a collection or an array of boxes, so we want to go through all of them, we check the top left, the top right, the bottom left, the bottom right, and then if any of them are okay, then we collide. But there's a problem here. And I kind of want to wait with it a little bit. Okay. I'm going through my notes here. Sorry. So no, let's do that. Let's just do that. So there's a problem here.
Someone in chat.
Yes, that's Old Grumpy is exactly pointing out the problem. Yeah. That's I was debating if I wanted to talk about it now. So let's just go through this code here. Someone is calling is box inside boxes. We don't care who. It can be anything.
Grandma's calling.
Grandma's calling. Grandma gives us an X and a Y, a width and a height. Okay, great.
Thanks, Grandma.
Thanks, Grandma. And we have a sum collection. So what do we know about this collection? Can it have one value?
Well, right now it has none.
No. If we think about arrays
Yeah.
as just a theoretical experiment, can an array have one value? Like one element in it?
I don't remember because it starts at 0, so it doesn't need more than one.
No, could someone make an array with one element?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So
I guess.
someone could send in an array with one element.
Yeah.
Okay. How often would we go through the loop?
Once.
Which is this one box that someone made. We would check the collisions, and then we would return. Great. And then if any of these are true, it will be true. If all of them are false, it will be false, right? And then we will exit the function. Okay. Can this be empty?
No. Or can it? It can.
Yeah, an array can be empty. Someone just made an array and didn't make any elements. Yep.
What a useful array.
Very useful array. So, okay, so this is empty. How often will we go through this?
0.
Yeah. So we will jump.
Wouldn't even happen.
We will jump over it. But we don't. Then we're done here, right?
Yeah.
What does this function return?
Bool.
If we're down here, are we returning anything?
No.
So what should we return?
The
If
collision. We shouldn't return the collision.
No, collision is not of type bool. Collision is of type box.
No, but we need to return if the box is inside box.
But if we went through the entire loop,
Yeah.
and there was no collision, and we're down here, what is the result? Is it true or false?
If there was no collision, then it was false.
Yeah. So let's return false. Okay. Then next question. Can this be two elements?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say that we're not within the first element. The first box is just somewhere out in the corner. We're not there. But we are colliding with the second box. Great. So we go through the loop.
Yeah.
Here's a collision. Box is the first box. This is false. This is false. This is false. And this is false because that box is just somewhere out in the corner. What happens here?
We return...
Will we ever check the second box?
No, because we're returning a value of 0.
Yeah, we're returning a false.
Yeah.
And a return will exit the function.
So we just need to remove that.
We need to change how that works.
Ooh.
Okay. Let's at first just store the value. So is collision. It's a Boolean that is asking the question, is there a collision? And we can make that be equal to this thing over here. Okay. So now, if I can just erase this, now we just have the question, is there a collision? Great. Okay. Could I do this? And is there a problem by doing that? So if you don't have to type this, I'm just going to ask the question. I'm going to say, is collision is false to begin with? And then I go here, and then I do this. Is there a problem here?
Well, yeah, because aren't we already deciding that collision is false?
So at first we say collision is false.
Yeah.
Then we go into the loop.
Yeah.
We do our calculation.
Oh, yeah.
Then we set the value.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say we collide with the second box. Collision is false. A collision. We calculate the thing. then is collision is then what? In the first box, it's false.
Yeah.
So this value started as false. In the second loop, the value is false. Great. We go back down, back up, because there are 2 boxes. Second one, we're going to collide with it. So one of these is going to be true, which means that one of these is true, which means is collision is true.
Yeah.
I go down here.
Which means you return true.
Yeah.
So that would work.
That would work. Okay, let's flip it around. Let's say that I collide with the first box. I don't collide with the second box in the array. Okay, is collision is false.
No, it wouldn't work because you're returning a value, right?
Yeah.
Because...
What value am I returning?
True.
I want to know if I'm colliding with any box.
Yeah, you're returning a value that's colliding with box, which means you leave. Right?
I'm leaving here.
Yeah.
So let's say collision is false.
Yeah.
I'm going to collide with the first box, not the second box.
Yeah.
This is the first box. One of these is true, which means is collision is true. I go back down.
Yeah.
I go back up. Now we're checking the second box.
Yeah.
Currently, is collision is true, right?
Yes.
I don't collide with the second box.
But it thinks you're colliding with the second box.
No.
No? Okay.
We do the calculation.
Yeah.
All of them are false.
Yeah, it returns false.
This is false.
Yeah.
So even though I'm actually colliding with the first box, because what this one does is this one only gives me the last value. What happened with the last collision.
Okay.
So that doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to this. And what we want is we want to know if we collide with any box, I want to exit the function because that is all what I wanted to know. Did I collide with any box? If I don't collide with any box, then I want to return false. Let's also put this one back to false. So
I didn't write any of this.
No, you should just have this one.
Yeah.
So then the question is, if is collision, so if that one is true, I want to return true. So now we get the value. Did we collide with whatever box we're looking at right now? If we did, I want to exit the function with true. Which means that the only way I can go back down here
is if nothing collides.
And the only way I can return true is if at least one of them. And I don't care when. If it's the first one, if it's the 10th one, if it's the 9,001st one, doesn't matter. As soon as one of them is true, boom, we're done. Exit, we have collided with a single one.
Someone says there's a typo in chat?
There is a typo, yes. Collision, thank you. Mr. Balrog, you're nice for a Balrog. Okay, great. So that's this function. And now we want to use this, right? We want to check this. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to our update function. From the Lights of Mordor, that's nice. And we're going to update it in a quite drastic way. In the past, we would just say update, and it would just move the dude. In episode 3, we saw that we had to check first if X was allowed to move, and then if Y was allowed to move. But it became kind of quirky because you had to check for every box. Like, remember the old draw function? It was like a page of just checks. So there's 2 changes to the header of update. We're going to return a bool eventually in the function. And we're going to take in an array of boxes. Box A collisions. So we are going to send in the boxes here. There's someone who's going to call update on this box also has to send in the collection of stuff that this box might want to check a collision for. All right. So, like we talked about before, we need to check X and Y separately. Do you remember why we had to do that?
Yeah, because otherwise it wouldn't take both of them at the same time. If you hit 2 buttons at the same time, it would only take the last one, right?
For that case, yeah. Why we need horizontal and vertical separately? Yeah. Why did we have? Do you remember why we had to check for collision on X and Y separately?
Oh yeah, because it would just ignore one half of them.
You
right?
would,
You'd be able to like go through horizontally if it was only checking vertically.
So that was one of them. And the other one was if you landed on a wall, you would get stuck in the wall. You wouldn't glide along the wall. Because one of them was gliding and it was stopping the update of both. Okay? So let's do those checks. We're going to say, we're going to create a Boolean and we're going to ask the question, is there an X collision? Collision. That's a hard word. And now you're going to see why I needed the X and Y and width and height separately. And the reason is, I don't want to check the current box. I want to check the potential future box that we are going to be. And remember that from the third episode? Because if we check the current box, we will get stuck in walls. And that's not great. So what we do is we ask the question, is box inside boxes? And what we send in, instead of sending X and Y, we send in X horizontal and Y. So we're checking, did we collide on the X? We sent height and width. If I remember correctly, it was height and width. No, sorry, it's width and height. Width and height. And then we send in, you see here, a collision. So update is the one that's sending this in.
Oh man, this is complicated now.
Yep.
So we have a Boolean updating an array of boxes called a collision.
Mm-hmm.
And then another Boolean, which is X collision.
Checking if there's a collision on the x-axis.
Yeah, which is, again, using the...
We're checking our future x, which is the x plus horizontal, where we're going. Our current y.
Yeah.
Our current width and current height.
And then...
the array of boxes we would like to check against. Yep, this is fun. So if there is not an x collision, there is no x collision, what are we allowed to do then?
Keep going.
Then we are allowed to move in the x-axis.
Woo! Freedom!
And we can copy this dude.
Basically just change it to Y.
Yep. Is Y collision. It still is box inside boxes, but instead of sending X horizontal and Y, we send in Y and Y vertical, because it's our future Y. And the same with height collision. And then instead of asking is X collision, we ask if Y collision. Wow, I misspelled that again. Collision. There we go. I'm horrible at spelling today. And then instead of moving X, we move Y.
We can remove that bottom.
Okay. So we ask, are we going to collide in our future X with any of the boxes that someone sent in? If so, like if we don't collide on the X, we're allowed to move X. If we collide to any box that someone sent in on our future vertical axis, then if we don't, we're allowed to move. And what we want to return is X collision or Y collision. Okay. Which means that if update returns false, what does that mean?
You're not moving. You've hit something.
You've hit something, yeah. And if update returns true, you hit something. You don't know where, if it was on X and Y, but it doesn't matter. Not right now. So update is going to tell you the boxes you just sent in, did you collide with any of them? Yes or no? If this is false, you didn't collide with any of the boxes you sent in. And that also sounds like a nice interface. I have a box, I send in a bunch of boxes, I call update, and it will tell me, did I collide with any of the boxes? All right. We're in the home stretch.
Oh, snap.
Home
this
stretch.
Is intense.
Yeah. Okay. This is it for box. This is functional enough that it will actually work now for box. We can do really cool stuff with this. So let's go back to main. And let's create an enemy.
Sorry, I think I thought I might have typed something like random somewhere. So we'll see if this works.
So let's create an enemy. Yeah. And let's also, so we had 10,000 bullets. It's going to be a problem in a bit. So I'm going to turn it down to 100 just for now. But it's going to be a problem. So what is an enemy? Or a collection of enemies?
Boxes?
Yes. So it's an array of boxes. Let's call them enemies. Enemies. And let's say new box. And let's create 2 enemies for now. Okay. We always want the enemies to exist. So what we can do is we can say enemies. The first one is a new box. Let's put that enemy at 110, which is the X and the Y. And let's make them 32 and 32 in size. And then for the second enemy, let's put that guy at 220. Just that he is somewhere in the world. We're not going to change setup at all or key types.
We need to change the random though, don't we?
No, we're going to use it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a fun one. So let's use it. I'm going to hit enter a few times so you can see. Now our focus is draw. So here's the problem. We have spaceship update.
Yes.
We're not sending anything.
Yeah, we don't have any. Yeah. Do we even have a spaceship? We don't have spaceship. Oh no, we do.
We do have spaceship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we also don't have.
But we're not sending anything in, are we?
No.
So, but do we want to collide with the enemies or do we not want to collide with the enemies?
We want to collide with enemies.
Okay. What should we send in then?
The boxes.
Yeah. What's the variable called?
Box.
No, what's the variable's name of the enemies?
The enemies?
Yeah. What type is it?
A box.
A box array?
Yes.
And what does update want?
It wants values? Collision? A collision? Yes, it wants to be told if it collides.
It wants the box array.
Yeah.
Again, the name is just for the
okay.
So update wants an array of boxes.
Yeah.
Enemies is an array of boxes, which means that in update we can send enemies. And that's the only thing that matters. Does the type match? If it does, you can send it. Like we could not send in box, but we can send in an array of boxes. Great.
And that array of boxes we've called enemies.
Mm-hmm. So here's bullet.
Yeah.
We're looping through the bullets. If bullet is not null, this was from last episode. Here we have a bullet update.
Yeah, we also need to put enemies in there.
Are we going to do it that way? Is the bullet colliding with the enemy, or is the enemy going to collide with the bullet?
Doesn't the bullet collide with the enemy?
What we're going to do here is we're going to have the enemy collide with the bullet.
Okay.
You'll see why.
Okay.
But bullet still calls update. An update needs something, right? So we can do this, which is just an empty array. So for bullet is not going to check anything. We could say enemies, but for now we're not going to do anything. Great. But now we need to draw the enemies, right?
Yeah.
And we're not going to use this type of for loop. And you'll see why. We're going to use the other one, the longer one. So we're going to have to say for int I, just some integer, is 0, while I is less than enemy's length. And then I'm going to show you a thing, I++.
I++?
Yes.
What is that?
That is the same as saying I is equal to I plus 1.
Ah.
Mm-hmm. It does 2 actions. So this is actually 2 actions. It's this, take I and increment it by 1. And then it's this action, which is I is equal to whatever is over here. So it's first create a temporary value and increment it by 1, and then take that value and assign it to this one. This guy is doing both at once. This is why C++ is called C++, because it's the next. Har.
Har.
Okay, and there's a reason why we have to loop through this like this. We're going to do the same checks, like in bullet, in this loop, we have to check if it's not null. So we have to do that. If enemies, and wow, I'm very bad at the enemies, there we go. But we need to access the value, so we have to say I. Yeah, you can also do ++I if a language supports that. But let's not go into that right now. But yeah, that's correct.
Does not equal
to null. So if it is an actual value, great. Because we don't want to loop through and mess with enemies that don't exist anymore. Great. And I want to do enemies I, dot update, and enemies I dot draw. So again, it's the same. Checking if they're not null, calling an update, and then calling a draw. Same thing as here. But we have the same problem in this location. We need to send in something.
Now we can send in bullets.
We can send in bullets. And again, if we check, if I scroll up here, bullets is of type box array. And if I go to box, update wants a variable of type box array. So that matches, that works. So we've been typing for a while now without hitting play.
Oh, let's see how many typos I made. Are we split screen again?
We can do this, we can do this, we can split screen. Let's hit play, see what happens. I have an error as well. Cannot read property X of null.
I have no.
It doesn't even function.
Yeah. So now you have to find that. Mine doesn't even load. So no. I think maybe I forgot some curly braces somewhere.
Could be. Let me find mine. We had cannot read property X of null. So I'm going to go through. We have X, we have Y. That works fine. Where otherwise are we reading X? We're reading it here. That's fine. So it's probably in main. And that's another thing that I'm quite unhappy with this language is
an empty array is passed.
It doesn't have X. That might be, there might be a check I forgot here.
Well, I messed up something bigger. So I need to find my mistake. I think is it this? I didn't close this bool.
Yeah, I found mine. So, in box inside boxes, this one here.
Yeah.
We might send in a null box. So we have to ask the question here, if box is not equal to null, or if box is equal to null, we can do a thing called continue. And what continue does is, if box is equal to null, continue means just go back up the loop. Ignore everything below and just go back up.
Okay.
So that should fix mine. Yep, it does. Okay. So you still have, okay.
I just have white screen.
No problem. Let's go through yours.
So I think, okay, no. So I don't close it there, because it's being closed there.
Okay, try that then. Just incrementally try it.
No, it was what I added that one before. So this one.
We mess with update. So look at update. If there's anything there. It looks okay. Yes. Okay. Let's go to the main and draw. Let's see if anything was there. So we have that one.
I probably just literally forgot a letter somewhere.
It's odd that it doesn't actually show you an error. If you scroll down a little bit, just so I can see the braces. Those match. Go back to update, Balrog says. It's in box.
Oh.
Comma instead of semicolon in the loop. Yeah, if you go back to main. You have a comma int I equals 0, line 55. It's a semicolon. So let's try that one. No, a semicolon.
Oh, yeah, whoops.
Try that.
Aha.
No? Okay.
Something's still missing. Yeah, I think I did that somewhere else, though. Where we used the 4 somewhere. It's not that one, right?
No. Let's go back to box then.
Because now there's nothing on the screen.
So box is null. Collision is true. We have a puzzle on our hands.
Comma instead of the semicolon again. No.
No, it's the same.
Bug fixing.
Sometimes programming is just this, trying to figure out what's going on. So let's go to update there in, if you scroll down. There's update. X and Y vertical.
Is point inside box.
Is point inside boxes. I'm wondering if the name, we changed the name.
Or maybe I didn't change is point inside box. No, here.
Is point inside box.
Maybe I forgot some caps. No.
Yeah. Inicide. Is box inicide box. It's inside.
Wait, what?
Extra I in the beginning.
Is it just that one then?
Just click play, see what happens. Boom. There we go.
Thank you for the sub.
So if you hit the sub,
Thank you.
if you hit spacebar, you should get the bullets. Yes, there we go.
But they don't collide.
They do actually.
They do.
Yeah, we just don't do anything.
But they go through.
They do go through. Okay. So what should happen when we collide?
They stop.
The bullet should stop.
Well, the bullet should disappear.
Bullet should disappear. Okay. But what else should disappear?
Box.
The enemy.
How do we delete?
How do we delete?
How do we delete?
So this question is why we loop through this way. If you're looping through this way, you can't modify. You can use the value. You can call functions on the value, but you can't modify the array. So the array is, you can't change it, but you can mess with the value itself. And you can't delete the value, because this is basically a copy of the thing here. So if you delete this one, it will be deleted for the loop.
Yeah.
And then the next time you loop, it's back. So we need to delete the actual enemy. So this is why we're looping it through this way, because we have access to the array itself, not through some sort of reference. So what we need to do,
Murder everything.
so if you remember in update, we asked the question, did you collide with anything? So did the box collide with any of the other boxes that we sent in? And that returned true or false. And since that is returning a true or false,
Can we ask it if true?
we can get the value. So collision, and this is only possible because update as a function returns true, and we want that value, so we assign it to a variable. Bull collision is the value of enemies update with the bullets. So that's the answer if you collided with anything. You want to try a thing?
Yeah.
Let's print it out. Println collision. So we should print to the screen if enemy collided with any bullet, right? Let me move mine so you can see the print log. So if you hold down space. No?
What did I break?
What did I break?
Uh-oh, we're breaking all the things today.
All the things.
Println collision. I didn't spell that wrong.
Wait, I should be able to do this. It's not. Oh, it's over here. The log was hidden. Sorry. So I can do println collision. It's like a little dot on the corner. It sometimes hides it.
Really? I don't see that.
You're writing pint. Maybe it's Friday. Busted. Oh, you gotta clip that one.
Pint ln, please.
Yes. So if you hold down space.
False.
And if
True. It's true sometimes.
true sometimes, because you sometimes collided with a bullet. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. We want to do something with that information, right?
Yes. Delete.
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 So we can ask the question if collision, right?
Yes.
Cool.
I got too far ahead of myself before.
A line of pints is on Gabe. There we go. There are many lines of pints. So if we have a collision, what do we want to do? So how do we delete something from an
Remove
array?
enemy. I don't know.
Yeah. Because we have a static array.
Yes.
What we just do is, and all the locations that we've been asking is it null? That's like our main question, right? Then we could just say enemy's I is equal to null. And then continue because we don't want to draw. So if the enemy hit any of the bullets, then this is true. We want to set enemy's I to null. And we want to continue because if it would continue down, it would try to call draw on enemy's I, which is null, which doesn't work.
So what happens now?
What happens now?
We're gonna play this real slow, okay?
Yeah?
Since it's random, we need to...
Get in location.
Missed.
Missed.
Got him.
Got him.
Got him.
Got him.
Got him. Oh, I got him 2 in a row.
2 in a row. First casualty.
Doing it again.
Yep.
Oh, got him. First try.
First try.
Oh, yeah.
You look how slow it was.
So good.
Let's try mine. Nope.
No.
Nope.
Ooh.
Get good. There we go.
There you go. No.
I was just...
Oh, there you go. Got him.
Got him. So, more enemies?
Yeah.
More enemies. So what we do, let's create 5. Here, the thing is, we need to create each one by hand, 2, 3, and 4, because we need to set the X and the Y, right? So let's put some fun randomish values, I don't know. Or, hey, we could just use random, right?
Oh, yeah, true.
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 Ooh, I had an idea. Let's have 20 enemies.
Oh.
So this is on.
Can our box handle 20 enemies?
Let's see.
It's a strong box.
Let's see.
Okay.
And let's make a loop.
Okay.
That says for box enemy. Yeah, enemy in enemies. So we're looping through all of them. And then now I don't remember. No, let's use the old style loop. This one. So we create a variable called I, and for enemy length, we say enemy's I is new box. And then we say, for the first X value, we say random. So it's the height and the width. So it's first the width. It would be from 0 to 800, right? Because that's the size of the screen.
Where's setup?
Setup is on line 19 there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 800. The second random will be 0 from 600. Let me move this in so people can see. Whoops. And then we can just say 32, 32. So this isn't planned. This is not from my notes. So, but we'll see if this works out. I could just delete these, which means that I'm going to create 20 enemies at random X and Y locations. Let's do another thing.
That won't work, apparently.
That won't work. It does work.
Get up.
Nice. Let's do a thing. If you scroll down to draw, above spaceship update, it's okay if they spawn outside. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to be absolutely sure that they're always within, you can have, based on how, you could have an enemy at 800 by 600, and he won't appear because he's at the corner.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Above spaceship, do a fill of 02550. Above bullet, the loop. Above the bullet loop. Let's do 50 in each. And above the enemy loop, above the enemy loop, let's do 255, 0, and 0. Yeah, we can define a global variable, totally. But since this wasn't planned, we can just do it like this, it's fine. But yeah, we can make a variable that is height and width, and then use it here. Then we reuse it here, that's absolutely correct. Okay, ready? A bit more colorful.
Get him!
And then we just hold down and...
Some of my my boxes were very like...
You got a bad spawn, right?
Yeah.
That was the issue. Oh, I want more enemies. 50?
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. Now we just have to change the size of the enemy box. Enemy array. Line 5. Yeah. You just change this to something. Oh.
I can't move, I'm stuck. I spawned inside of it.
Oh yeah, since you're colliding with the enemies.
I'll just clear my way out, it's fine.
I think the bullets are kind of OP, right?
Yeah, they're probably too strong. It's fine. I'm just gonna try to get rid of these last few here.
You think you'll get them?
That one maybe? Yeah, there we go. Bam. Spawned inside.
5,000?
Yeah.
Should we end on that one?
This is just gonna... Wow, they like... Oh no, they look different. Just...
Okay, ready.
Just clear some space.
Wait, 3, 2, 1.
This is race. See who gets it first. Oh, it's just lag. It's just horrible lag. Oh man.
Oh man.
Many.
Oh man.
You're further than I am though. This is gonna actually just take forever. Maybe we're shooting too many bullets though. I think actually the bullets are disappearing before they...
You think?
Yeah, look, mine's not going any further now.
And then it's gonna get faster after a while.
But mine's stuck. I can't. I'm stuck.
I'm winning.
Yeah, but mine won't go further than that. Oh, it's like hitting sometimes the edge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, their bullets are stopping because we have a limit of 100.
Yeah.
So let's have 1,000 bullets and maybe 1,000 enemies. Maybe it's a little better.
Alright, ready?
Okay, wait. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it wasn't much better.
Wasn't much better, no.
Is it gonna get better as we clear some out?
Yep.
Oh, you're still further than I am though.
I'm winning. Mine's better.
It doesn't matter. Maybe you just missed the one at the very end.
That's a good. Stop shooting so it doesn't despawn the bullets you shot. Yeah, you're right. And some of the bullets are kind of traveling through.
I'll start shooting again. You know, keep a good spread of bullets here.
I'm gonna go down to 500 and let's say 250 enemies. There we go. It's a little nicer. Let's go.
Oh god, 2,500.
It still lags a bit, but it's fine. So there we go. That was a good one.
Should make a game based on that, like FPS. Super, like based on your FPS, it's super difficult to play when there's too many enemies because it's just horrible FPS.
We can do this. Ooh. That's a good GIF. So that's basically it for that section. And now I have a few challenges for people. And you, Gabe.
Uh-oh.
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 So there's a bug in this.
What's the bug?
And some people might see the bug. Keep shooting. People might see the bug. You can actually see it.
Is it that it doesn't despawn until it gets into the middle of it?
No.
There.
You see? The bullet is going through some enemies without killing them. Why is that? And how do you fix it?
I have no idea.
That's challenge number 1. Oh, yeah. That's your GIF.
Just trying to get some
Good
shots here.
Good B-roll, right?
Good B-roll.
So the smaller bullet goes through and doesn't kill the enemy. It was obvious, like, a bullet like went through the box and didn't kill it. Why is that? And how do you fix it? That's challenge number 1. And number 2 is make different guns. Because now we just spread around. Can you make different guns? And what I would like to do is, in the first episode in January, which is in the second week of January, I would like to see if anybody solved the issue with the bullet, why the bullet goes through some boxes and not some others. And I would like to see other types of guns. So that is, and you have the entire holiday season to do this. And if someone can make, so we have a sprite for the ship. It's the little NGON logo. If someone can make icons for the bullet and icons for the enemies, and there could be many types of icons. We could have many types of enemies. That's also awesome. And we will showcase that in the next episode.
Do we want to reward people who can figure out the challenges?
Yeah. Let's have.
We could think of a reward.
Yeah.
But maybe it'll be a surprise for those that can figure it out. We'll figure out some sort of surprise reward if you can solve the challenges.
There will be some reward.
Some reward.
Yeah. So it's 2 separate challenges. Can you fix the bug with the bullets going through enemies? And can you make, or let's say maybe the top 3 most creative guns.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Challenge sent out, basically. Into the world.
Into the world.
Great.
But yeah.
So thank you for the first 8 episodes. We'll see you in the next year.
Yeah. We'll be off until, so check the calendar real quick. I think we'll come back on the 11th.
11th, yes.
January 11th will be the next episode. And then we'll continue on, see where we go.
There's a question here. Is the challenge open for all or only for newbie coders? I'm going to say it's open for all. But if you say, like, hey, I'm new to programming and this is what I made, I will take that into account. Like, if a person is like, oh, I've been programming for 10 years and here's the gun I made, I'm like, cool. But if it's like, I've been following the episodes and here's the gun I make, I will take that into account because the focus here is to learn programming. If you know
what you're doing, you're going to have to make a real sick gun.
You're going to have to make a really great gun. Yeah. And of course, if you're not into programming or we have an artistic talent, you can make enemies. That would be cool. But there's no challenge directly for that. That's just cool if someone makes enemies.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, we hope everybody has a great holiday season. Do some stuff, play some games, hang out with some people.
Take some naps, eat some great food.
It's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see you guys in the New Year. Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out. Bye.